So, I really want to apologize for not being on time for Rabbi Dee's prayer today in Dizengeoff Square. I've seen so much ignorance and hate, and it was really ironic. This man says, I'm a professor at the Hebrew University, and it's like, it's not a war. It shouldn't be a war. It should be maybe a discussion, but that's not the right place. I mean, how can it be that we're not allowed to hold a prayer in Israel? Like, really, what is wrong with segregating men and women in a prayer? It's not on a bus. It's not Rosa Parks. You're not saying to people to sit at the back of the bus. You're just separating men from women. And yes, it's not allowed. But you know what's not allowed? To stop traffic. To block traffic in Kaplan, wherever they go, to scream in loudspeakers and to disturb the peace, as I had to report to the police because I was just sitting enjoying my free time with my dog and somebody just blasted my ears with nasty comments on politicians. And that's not allowed either. Disturbing the peace is not allowed. Pushing a rabbi or pushing anyone is not allowed. And yet this person, I'm sure, is not arrested and not given any limits. I really think it's a blessing I wasn't there, because I don't know if I could have controlled my emotions, and I could have, and my dog definitely, if she had seen something going on, she would have jumped, perhaps. And I was fearing that, and because of that I was late, because I really wanted to come to the prayer, and I wanted to pray with Rabbi Dee, who I admire so much from the short time I've gotten to know him, from his talks. And I'm like, wow, I'm a very, very, very critical, I'm a very, very, skeptical person, and I have been taught or maybe educated to criticize a lot. But when I saw Rabbi Dee, I said, this is the real thing. This is a person of faith. He's a person who's been tested in a horrible, terrible way, and yet he rose up from his very, very tragic case of losing his wife and his two precious daughters, his dear wife and his precious daughters, to terror, to pure violence. And yet he comes to pray, and he's getting pushed by a person who's supposed to be a Jew. Supposed to be. I think there are a lot of lost souls in this world, and definitely a lot of them seem to concentrate in Tel Aviv. He came to do a prayer of coming together, and yes, there was a separation, I understood, but you know what? That doesn't make me less of a woman if I'm standing with women. It doesn't change how I am as a woman. You know what changes? The laws, the opportunities for women. I didn't see the left-wing government doing anything to benefit women and to fight violence against women. And a prayer surely isn't a threat, and yet there are people who feel threatened by Judaism. They're not threatened by Christianity, they're not threatened by Islam, they're not threatened by Buddhism, they're threatened by Judaism. Like as if Judaism is going to do some damage to them. And I think it comes from ignorance, a lot of ignorance. And I understand, shit, this is dangerous, you see? What's up? So I almost got hit by a motorcycle, but I wasn't hit by a motorcycle. Fear is the worst thing. So there's a saying by an American president, I think could be Roosevelt, who said, we have nothing to fear but fear itself. And the problem is that a lot of people in Israel, in this particular area of Tel Aviv, are ruled by fear. Myself included sometimes. I do not like the idea of mixing politics with religion. However, this is a Jewish state. I mean, otherwise we would be USA or UK or I don't know. But what makes us different than other countries is the fact that this is the homeland of the Jewish people. Otherwise, there's no reason why we're here. Otherwise, we could be anywhere. And some people here want to delete the Jewish character or the flavor of this country. And I think it's very, very ignorant to do so, because, as I said, and I'm going to repeat that metaphor of the tree. Oh, let's say this tree right here. It has the top part. Wow, I forgot what it's called in English at the moment. The top of the tree, the branches, right? Then it has this part, the bark, and it has the roots. And if you don't have the roots, if you're not connected to the roots, you're basically not connected. And I think the prayer connects people. I often also don't feel connected. I understand the feeling of not feeling connected. And I'm very sad I didn't come to the prayer. But once we realize that the main connection is up to the creator of the universe, that doesn't have a gender, by the way, in Judaism. It's both Shekhinah, female, and Kadosh Baruch Hu is male. It's very complex. I'm not here to explain it because I don't know it myself. But I do think what happened in Dizengeoff, that someone pushed the rabbi, and that person is not in prison, is not given any sanctions. It's okay to push a rabbi. It's okay to interfere a prayer. This woman, I read in wine that she sat in a coffee shop and she saw the prayer, so she immediately called the police because that's a horrible crime. In the meantime, our soldiers are fighting terrorists. There's violence, but no. Praying, she had to report praying to the police. I'm wondering sometimes, where am I? Am I in Germany, 1939? What the heck is going on in this country that people feel so threatened by religion? I understand people don't like political, religious parties that are extreme. I understand that. But there's a place and a time to argue. And it's not during a prayer in Dizengeoff Square. And it's not pushing a rabbi. And it's not destroying a sukkah, as I saw, was destroyed because it disturbed somebody. Why are people threatened by Judaism? Why are people in Israel feeling so threatened? Why can they differentiate between extreme people that don't enlist in the army and are fighting towards very extreme rules, and between Judaism of thousands of years of praying? Although I read that segregation has not been in existence for thousands of years. But what makes people feel threatened by Judaism, by prayer? Why does it make a woman who sits in a coffee shop pick up the phone and call the police? I mean, is this a crime worthy of a police intervention? A person praying, women are there, men are there. Why does it disturb people? I'm so angry. Why is it okay to push a rabbi, to block streets, to scream is okay, but to pray is not okay? Prayer is a beautiful spiritual experience, and it has nothing to do with politics. And if you do it separate, men and women, or whatever you do it, it shouldn't be a problem for anyone. It's such a small gathering it was. It's not like the whole, the fear people have here is completely ridiculous, because most of the people in Israel are not religious. A. B. It's Judaism. Why does Judaism threaten a Jew? It's crazy. It's like saying that humanity threatens humans, or dogs scare dogs. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. And the more I think about it, the more I feel that it's about time that we really spoke up for the people that are moderate, the people that want peaceful coexistence, and speak up against violence of any kind. Wow, I'm almost spoken 10 minutes. So have a nice holiday. I can't define myself as anything really, but what I am defined as a person that is against violence and against pushing a rabbi. And if whoever did it is a sad, sad person who feels that they can be violent. And the police, for some reason, doesn't stop it. It's tragic. It's very tragic what's happening here in Israel between people that feel threatened by Judaism, yet they're not threatened to celebrate Oktoberfest, traditional German Bavarian holiday, as the municipality spreads. They don't feel threatened by Christianity, Islam, by their kids celebrating Halloween, the night of All Saints Night, Catholic holiday. They don't feel threatened by kids learning about Valentine's Day, but they're not allowed to learn about Jewish holidays. What is wrong with these people? I'll tell you what. They're not connected to their roots. They don't even have roots. They just have a little stem floating in air, and they just feel so threatened by people that are connected. And that's very sad indeed. To be anti-Semitic in Israel when you're a Jew, sad. Anyway, peace, light, and love. And I, for one, am just continuing to be very confused by what happened today in Dizengeoff. Peace, light, and love.